Welcome back to E-Train's Wicked Good Picks. These picks aren't horrendous. These picks aren't substandard. These picks are wicked good. Today we're breaking down NFL Week 14 games. Wow, Week 14 already. Where the hell is the year gone? But anyway, it's the thoughts and handicaps on every game. Just what I'm thinking, what I'm leaning toward when I'm looking down in the app. I'm recording this during Thursday Night Football, so I'm going to jump right into Sunday 1 o'clock games. We've got the Jacksonville Jaguars traveling to Cleveland to play the Browns. Dog pound, baby. I like the Jacksonville team under. I think the Cleveland defense plays completely different at home. I think they just got smoked by more than 30 points by the Rams. I think they're going to try to get better, have a bounce back spot against Jacksonville's backup quarterback. I think it's CJ Beathard making the start. He's not great. So I think Jacksonville team under. The next game up is the LA Rams traveling to Baltimore to play the Ravens. I always love Lamar Jackson against a NFC team. I like Ravens laying the points here. I think the LA is a West Coast team playing on the East Coast at 1 o'clock. Baltimore's coming off a bye. It might be rainy, windy. The best way to beat the Rams, pressure the quarterback. Baltimore leads the league in sacks. I think Lamar Jackson, that run game, will be able to control the clock in bad weather. I love Baltimore laying more than a touchdown. The next game up is Detroit traveling to Chicago to play the Bears. I like Chicago's team over here. I think Detroit has been sort of a sieve on defense, and they've let a lot of the teams lately move the ball and score kind of at will. I also like St. Brown props. Chicago Bears really struggle against wide receivers that line up in the slot. They're like 28th against it. And St. Brown lines up mostly in the slot. I think he should torch them. I love his receptions prop. I also think that Chicago is kind of a live dog here. Maybe sprinkle on the money line as well as the spread here. Next game is Carolina traveling to New Orleans to play the Saints. New Orleans. I kind of hate this game. Don't bet this game. These are two teams I like to fade. I guess you'd go New Orleans with the points. Carolina fired their coach, still played like shit. That's a very, very, very bad sign. So it's impossible for you to bet on them. But New Orleans is right there too. They get Jameis Winston starting, so I really have a hard time putting my hard-earned money on New Orleans. But if I had a gun to my head, I'd have to take New Orleans in this game. The next game up, or before we talk about that, I want to talk about the future of the channel. So I know the production values are awful. I'm doing this on my phone, one take, children of men style. It's crazy. I have no editing, no backgrounds, no like visuals like emblems or pics or anything on the screen. It's trash. I really want to improve. I'm going to improve. But it's really hard for me to improve while I'm making videos, and I'm trying to squeeze videos out for these last few NFL weeks. All right, let's get back to it. The next game up is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to A-Town to face the Falcons. So, I like the over in this game. I think there's going to be a lot more scoring than people anticipate. I also like Atlanta running back props because Tampa Bay has got a few defensive linemen and a few linebackers in the injury report. Now they're questionable, so it's likely they will play, but they're banged up. They're not 100%. And when your D tackles and linebackers are hurt and you're playing Atlanta, I know it's Arthur Smith, but if they're smart, they'll run the ball and they'll lean on the running backs, and I think running back props will go over. The next game up is the Colts traveling to Cincinnati to play the Bengals. I really like a lot of Indy overs. I haven't really dived into the props yet, but Cincy's defense is trash. I think we're late enough in the season to see that because they let Jacksonville move the ball. They let pretty much every team they've played lately has moved the ball. So I really like any Indy overs, maybe their team total, maybe Minshew's yards. I'll have to look into that. The next game up, the last of the 1 o'clock games, is Houston versus the New York Jets. I like the New York Jets team total under. I mean, this is a fucked up situation. The Jets had Aaron Rodgers. In Hard Knocks, we're so happy they had a quarterback because now they had a chance because they had a quarterback. He gets hurt, so they have to now be like, oh, Zach Wilson is our quarterback. And then they bench him. They go to Tim Boyle. He's our quarterback. And then they sign Trevor Siemian. Then they go back to Zach Wilson. Apparently, he didn't really want it, but that's just. There's no way Zach Wilson's going to play with any confidence. The team clearly doesn't like him, clearly doesn't think he's very good. So, how can he think he's very good? So, I like the Jets team under in this one. Now, on to the 4 o'clock games. Please like, share, and subscribe this video and comment down below the question of the day. NFL has a huge problem with the quarterback play. If you look around the league, the quarterback play is horrendous. If you read off the names of the starters, it's like a police lineup. Like, I have no idea who these guys are. So they need to do something about, I don't know if it's everyone in college playing in shotgun and they're making them do 5-7 step drops. I don't know if it's the lack of preseason or if it's the defenses are too good, or I don't know what it is, but the NFL across the board quarterback play is down and it's horrendous. Like right now, healthy top 5, top 10 quarterbacks toward the end of the 8, 9, 10, you're like, what the fuck? It's bad. It's really, really bad. So, on to the 4 o'clock afternoon games. We've got the Seahawks playing the 49ers in San Francisco. This is a tough game. It's a huge point spread in division, so it's really hard for me to go on a side here. But I like the 49ers to win both halves. I think that's a nice little prop that a lot of people think of. Very sneaky. Very good. The next game up is the Minnesota Vikings traveling to the Las Vegas to play the Raiders. I don't understand why Minnesota is favored. Both teams come off a bye. I think I like the Vegas money line, and I like any Jacobs rushing prop. I think this Minnesota defense is very vulnerable to the run, and I think if Antonio Pierce and the Raiders are smart, they'll feed Jacobs, and he'll have a solid day. The next game up is the Denver Broncos playing the Los Angeles Chargers in LA. This is another game. I don't understand. If you look at the last few Broncos games and the last few Charger games, I don't know why Denver is the underdog here. I love Denver money line here. Get some nice plus money. Before we go to the next game, I want to talk about today's sponsorship. Today's video is sponsored by alcohol. I mean, it's why I have a family. It's the best. All right, next game up. We got the Buffalo Bills at the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a tricky game. Mahomes, the history of him being a smallish dog, less than a field goal, excuse me, a smallish favorite, less than a field goal, is insane. He's like 85 to 90%. However, Buffalo Bills are off a bye week, playing a team they don't like, and it's kind of a must-win for them as far as their season. If they lose this, their season is over. If they win this, their season's still alive. I think Buffalo recognizes that. They're going to be a wounded animal. I don't want to bet against Buffalo, but I also don't want to bet against KC. So I think the best way to go here is Mahomes props. You can go Mahomes yards over. I think this Buffalo defense, their secondary, have to check an injury report to see who's back after the bye, but they were beat up earlier this year. On to the primetime games. We got one Sunday night game and 2 Monday night games, which, football, NFL, if you're going to have 2 Monday night games, don't have them start at the same fucking time. It's so stupid. We have an East Coast and a West Coast. Have one play on the West Coast that starts on the East Coast at 10 o'clock, but really, it's just so fucking obvious to have an 8 o'clock and a 10 o'clock. It's insane to have 2 Monday Night Football games on simultaneously, but I digress. Sunday Night Football, the Philadelphia Eagles traveling down to the Giant Star to play the Dallas Cowboys. I like Dak overs here, whether it's touchdowns or yards. I think the Philadelphia secondary is very vulnerable and can, I mean, if you remember the first game, Dak had his way with the secondary, and Dallas would have won outright if they didn't piss down their leg on the goal line stand at the very end of the game. That's one of the worst sacks of the year. That's one of the plays that sticks out to me. Dak taking that sack with like 50 something seconds left. It just fucked him up. It was such a bad play. Anyway, on to Monday night games, we've got the Tennessee Titans playing the Miami Dolphins. I really think Miami's going to blow the doors here. Miami is the number one bully in the league. It's kind of an amazing stat. Against the spread, they're 7-0 against teams under 500. They consistently cover against shit teams. Yet, they are 0-4 against the spread against teams that are above 500. Well, guess what? Tennessee's 4-8, so they are well below 500. I think Miami is going to make a statement on Monday Night Football that's going to say, we are the best team in the AFC by smashing the Titans. So I like the Miami Dolphins with the points, Miami Dolphins team over, whatever Miami Dolphins plus prop you want. Tua's passing yards, Tyreek Hill touchdown, etc. The final game up is the Green Bay Packers playing the New York Giants. I like the Packers team total over. The Giants are coming off a bye week, so I don't want to go to the side. I think a touchdown on the road for Jordan Love against a team coming off a bye is too much. I kind of sneakily like Barkley props. There's no real logic to this, but I think coming out of a bye, the O-line in the running game might be rejuvenated. And I think, quite frankly, because of their quarterback play, they might have all bye week been said, let's get back to our identity. Let's get back to running the ball. I think they might feed Barkley 20 plus times. But that's not the Green Bay's run defense is decent. It's just purely a gut feeling. That wraps up today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in, and let's make some money this weekend.